Come with me to Chester, Illinois, home of Popeye the Sailor Man. E.C. Segar, creator of the famous comic strip, was born here in 1894. That's Popeye's dad, Poop Deck Pappy. There are 19 statues featuring the Popeye comic strip characters, and we spent the day finding them. Our first stop was Spinach Can Collectibles, home of the Popeye Museum, located at the old Opera House built in 1875. Segar was a projectionist during the silent movie era and got his start as a cartoonist, painting the local people on slides and projecting them. Just outside the museum, you'll find murals featuring the comic strip characters and plenty of photo opportunities. In addition to the original Opera House, this area also had a tavern where locals like Windy Bill, Segar's former boss, would get hamburgers. Outside the museum, you'll find hamburger lover Wimpy. The 2006 Wimpy is the first of the additional statues added after the Popeye statue in 1977. We'll be seeing Popeye later. Segar created the comic strip Thimble Theater in 1919. Thimble Theater focused on the Oil family, Nana and Cole and their children Olive and Castor. Harold Ham Gravy was Olive's original love interest in the comic. Popeye wasn't introduced in the strip until 1929 and wasn't meant to be the lead character, though his popularity soon took off and he became the focus. Let's go inside Spinach Can Collectibles. Spinach Can Collectibles is part museum, part store. They have thousands of Popeye items, rotating what gets put on display. If you're a fan of vintage cartoons, comic strips, or just quirky roadside attractions, this place is such a fun stop. Fun fact, the Betty Boop voice actor Mae Questelore also voiced Olive Oyl in the cartoons. The museum is packed with memorabilia, old comic strips, collectible toys, vintage merchandise, photos, and pieces of animation history that go back decades. Some of this stuff feels like stepping straight into your grandparents' attic in the best possible way. One thing I really love is how personal this museum feels. It's not some giant corporate attraction. It's small-town Americana. You can tell the people here genuinely care about preserving Popeye history and Chester's connection to the character. Fun fact, Popeye's affinity for spinach, which started in 1931, helped boost U.S. consumption by 33%, saving the industry during the Great Depression. That's one of the owners. Mike and Debbie Brooks had a shared interest in Popeye and moved out of state to open the museum store in 1994. They've since been instrumental in highlighting Popeye's connection to the town with celebrations and the Popeye Trail of statues. Growing up, my mom used to tell me to eat my spinach so I could be big and strong like Popeye. To this day, I still love spinach, and every time I eat it, I think about Popeye squeezing open a can with one hand and grinning before another adventure. If Popeye doesn't fit your interest, there's also an attached antique store containing other collectibles. After a quick purchase of a Popeye t-shirt and sweatshirt, we were off to search for the town's Popeye statues. That's Olive Oyl's father, Cole. He's outside the Chester Public Library. The books on the statue are Sherlock, Shakespeare, and Longfellow themed. Olive, Sweet Pea, and Eugene the Jeep are outside the Randolph County Courthouse. Harold Ham Gravy, Olive's original love interest, stands just across the street. Here are what the originals look like. The bridge connects Chester, Illinois to Perryville, Missouri, across the Mississippi River. The new bridge is almost ready to open. This is the original Popeye statue, added in 1977. Also, it has a time capsule underneath. Popeye was inspired by Chester native Frank Rocky Beigel. Beigel is also buried at the local cemetery in Chester. This is the visitor center in Chester. It has restrooms, drinks, snacks, and it even has a souvenir penny machine. We took in a quick view of the Mississippi River before we were on to our next destination. We drove by Menard Correctional Center, which famously housed John Wayne Gacy. Pop culture fun fact, Harrison Ford was sent here in The Fugitive. The next statue we visited was Tor, located at the St. Nicholas landmark that dates back to the 1800s. The flags depict the historic governing bodies of the area, including the French, who settled the area in the 1600s, and British, who ruled in 1763. Popeye's 4 nephews are located at Chester Grade School: Pip-Eye, Peep-Eye, Poop-Eye, and Popeye. Oscar, one of Popeye's friends, is located at Cole Memorial Park. Popeye's pups are located at the Chester Firehouse. What makes Chester such a cool city is that the whole town has got in on the Popeye theme. Even the Chester Firehouse is adorned with Popeye imagery. Castor Oil and Whifflehen are at the Chester Memorial Hospital. Castor is Olive's little brother who solved detective cases together with Popeye until Cigar's death in 1938. C. Hegg and Bernard are between Walmart and McDonald's in Chester. She's one of Popeye's early antagonists. Roughhouse is at Restaurant Reed's Harvest House. He was the owner of the diner where Wimpy got his burgers. The phrase, "I'll gladly pay you for a Tuesday for a hamburger today," was frequently said at his cafe. Nana Oil, Olive's mother, is at Manor at Craig Farm. We took a quick break from statue hunting to cross Mary's River, covered bridge built in 1854. The Chester sign was giving Pennywise. I think it's the balloons. Professor O.G. Waddesnozzle, famous for his inventions and experiments in the comic, is fittingly at Chester High School. Here's Bluto, Popeye's antagonist, always trying to steal his girlfriend, Olive Oyl. King Blozo, he's the monarch of Spinachovia, appropriately found at Chester City Hall. And then we were off for a short drive to find the final statue. Alice the Goon, located near a shopping mall strip, initially appeared in the comic as an antagonist, but later teamed up with Popeye. Not part of the Popeye trail hunt, but there is another statue. This one is of famous detective Sherlock Holmes. The statue has Sherlock's body, but Cigar's face. Cigar was a huge Sherlock fan, which can sometimes be found in the comic strip. And then it was time to head home. So, if you're road tripping through southern Illinois, exploring Route 3, or just looking for one of those wonderfully weird Americana stops, the Popeye Museum in Chester is absolutely worth checking out. It's nostalgic, quirky, and honestly just really a fun little slice of history. Now, excuse me while I go see if spinach actually gives you superpowers.